How are you doing? Hey, y'all, it's been a very rainy day here today. I'm glad the rain stopped, but I had plans and I had to reschedule them. Um, but hey, y'all, what's up? Happy Saturday. Did you catch the premiere of my latest video, Becoming Dr. Dugan? Okay, that just premiered on my channel. So as you're watching this live stream, don't forget to go back and watch the video. It will be in my doctoral student. I don't, will it be the last video in my doctoral student playlist? I don't know. I feel like I have some more that I want to share now that the process is over. So go ahead and be sure to go back and watch that video. It just premiered, what time is it? It just premiered like 45 minutes ago. Definitely wanted to let y'all just kind of get a glimpse into the process and how it wrapped up pretty nicely for me. Okay, I see my moderator is on, and I do see the wrench by your name. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, I do see the wrench by your name. But yeah, y'all, on December 13th, your girl got her doctorate degree in higher education. I have an educational doctorate, so I have an EDD. I feel like across this process, like as I, would, tell people that, oh yeah, like I'm back in school, I'm working on my doctorate, people just assume that it's a PhD, but there are different types of doctorate degrees, y'all. There's PhD, there's EDD, there's a JD, a Juris Doctorate. Lawyers have that. So there are different types. The difference between the EDD and the PhD is that PhDs are more practitioners. I'm sorry, EDDs are more so practitioners, and then PhDs are more so like researchers. So that is definitely a difference between the two. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm an educator by trade. So that was definitely, the perfect alignment for my academic journey. But yeah, so on December 13th, I got my doctorate degree. It was a cold Friday, y'all. And it was a lot of people. And then the school is kind of so far from where I actually live at. So we definitely had a trek there. My friends and family were there, so that was exciting. And then they got there early that morning, so they had a long day. I think we definitely were all tired by the end of it. But the graduation was pretty short. Shout out, to graduation getting right to the point. We don't need a whole speech. We don't need a musical selection. I can understand if Oprah's gonna be, hi, Familian. I can understand if Oprah is going to be, the commencement speaker, then yeah, let's give Oprah, some time. But if it ain't nobody of that stature, let's just get, to the point and get through this thing, okay? So it was about an hour, and we would listen, went in, went out. Moderator, I hope you moderating. We went in, went out, and then we went to dinner after that. But, thinking about, just some tips, for people like who want to get a graduate degree, who want to, kind of do the long haul and get a doctorate degree. There's a lot of just stuff that's typically happening, by the time that you're working on your doctorate degree. You are most likely working full time. You're most likely like already like in your career, right? Most people are getting a doctorate degree in something that they're already working on. At the time, I was actually working in higher education, and I still work in higher education, actually, just not full time. Um, so by that time you're already like working in your career, like you've been there for some years. A lot of people, are married, they have families. My program was totally online. So that definitely made it much, much easier, for me. And I wanted an online program. Like there were some people who were like, man, I wish we had classes in person. I'm like, for what? Like, listen, I don't know about y'all, but my master's degree was in person, baby. That was a lot. I was working full time as a teacher and having to go to a class like 3 days a week that was not near anywhere where I was working. That was just too much. Okay. So I was like, online me, please. I prefer online program. I know some people, they don't like online. It's harder for them to keep up. They, want to actually make connections and just have that in-person feel. But for me, I'm a pretty organized person. I just bought me my 2025 planner today. Um, so, I was like, hey, online me, okay? So the online, part of my program was, pretty cool. It worked well for me. And then because where I was going to school at, I worked at. So a lot of the other people who worked there as well were going to school, and we were kind of like in the same classes. So it kind of helped me to, to build more connections with folks at work and things of that nature. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, the program was online, but I still was able to make connections. The first 2 years were coursework. So those first 2 years, I did do coursework. The first semester, I took like a full load, and I was working full time. That was in the height of COVID. Ooh, child. And then 2023, this time last year I had finished, what was I doing? Oh, this time last year I was working on my IRB proposal. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you for joining this live. I appreciate your support. Um, so this time last year, you see how things like go so fast? Like this time last year, I had not even gotten the approval to do my study, and a year, later, I'm done. So my process, it was like 4 years. Like it took me 4 years. Some people like will say that they get theirs in 3 years. I honestly don't know like how they do that, because I was taking like courses like every semester. I think sometimes they come in with credits already towards their degree. Unless they're taking like maybe like 6 classes, like, that first semester. Hi, Flacco, you know. So I'm not quite sure, how some people, um, uh, you know, do the 3 year thing. But my thing is, I remember doing my master's degree, I was in such a rush to get done at it. Somebody was like, why? Like, why are you in such a rush? Take in all the information you can take in. You're going to finish, that, but you don't need to be in a rush. So I kind of felt that same process for my doctorate degree. And yeah, it took me from August 2020 until fall 2020 until fall 2024. So it was a full 4 years. I did something I was enrolled every semester except for one. And that was because my chair was not working that semester. But I still worked on, the things that I needed to work on. Um, So, yeah, one of the major hiccups I talk about in the video is that once you finish your classes, so the process is you do your classes, and sometimes it kind of varies a little, but it's kind of the same thing for most people. You do your coursework, you take a test. So I had to take like a comps exam, they call it, which is basically all your classes combined. And it's basically like you got to write a dissertation for that. It's basically like a mini dissertation, baby. That comps was nothing to be played with. Um, I was like, oh my gosh, like I almost would have rather an in-person sit down test, because it was take home, but it was just so much, and you only had a week to do it, and it's just like you working full time. Like, girl, it was too much. But you take your comps exam. Once you pass, then after that you do what's called an oral exam, where you talk about what you want your dissertation to be about to your committee, and they'll kind of sign off on like yay or nay. Once you pass that, then you start writing your chapters 1 through 3. The chapters 1 through 3 took me the longest, y'all. Chapters 1 through 3 took, really, when I think about it, I'm trying to think, like, when did I really start chapters 1 through 3? Fall. Ooh, I would have to go back and just kind of look at my timeline, but it was somewhere. It was fall 2020. No, it was spring 2023. Yeah, so it was spring 2023 is when I started chapters 1 through 3, January 2023, and then within that time, yeah, so spring 2023, and then fall 2023 is when I did my initial proposal. Yeah. So that would have been like 2 semesters. Yeah. So it was 2 semesters of writing chapters 1 through 3, which is a pretty substantial amount of time. You have to get it approved. You're sending a lot of back and forth. Oh my gosh. It's really dependent upon, sometimes people like to ask, like, if you have a family member who's getting a doctorate degree, don't ask them when they're going to be finished, right? It's a long process. It's a lot of moving parts. It depends on you, but it also depends on other people as well, because they have to look at things. They have to approve things. People not just going to sign their name on things, that look a mess. So it's a long process, and you really don't know. Like, people would ask me, and I would say, this is when I hope to be done, but, I really don't have a date, right? My goal was to do it in 4 years, but I knew that, hey, realistically, you might be doing this in spring 2025, right? So we, chapters 1 through 3, we got that done. And then after that, you propose. You do a proposal of your chapters 1 through 3, up of your dissertation. Once you get the approval, then you go into IRB, which means that you have to submit to the institutional review board your study. It's a lot of paperwork. They want everything to be specific. You got to say this, you got to do that. Sometimes you have to go back and amend the IRB, which I did have to do. Y'all, so many things just take time. Like, oh my gosh, it takes time. Nothing is ever quick, right? And then once you get approval, then you can start recruiting for your study. Child, let's get into the study. So my study, and it's not available yet. I have submitted it, and it'll be on the dissertation, like, what do I want to call this? The dissertation website, I guess, ProQuest. It'll be there soon. I haven't gotten the email yet. I actually called last week, but I haven't gotten the email yet that says when it'll be uploaded. The university is closed right now, so realistically, they haven't even started sending that stuff in yet. So you get your approval for them, and then you start your study. Okay, I did a qualitative study because, baby, numbers is not my thing. I wasn't finna do a quantitative nothing, trying to put that stuff into these systems. No, heck no. I was like, I'm doing, and this is a word of advice, y'all. If you are wanting to get a doctorate degree and you want to do a dissertation, do the dissertation that your skills align with. Don't be doing stuff because it sound good. Don't be doing stuff because somebody told you XYZ. Hi, Drill. Uh, don't be doing that, okay? Do the dissertation method that works best with your skills. So I was like, I'm going to do like a case study, like interviews, okay? I did a lot of those in my master's degree. So I knew that I was proficient at that. So I was like, I'm going to do interviews. I need a small population. Don't be trying to give all these large numbers. No, ma'am. Keep it cute. Keep it small. Remember, you want to finish, okay? So keep that number. If you're, trying, I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. But for me, my sample size was 10 to 15 people. Okay, that's very manageable. Okay, so make sure it's manageable. Make sure whatever method you're using, you can be good at it. So I did interviews, but girl, even doing that, it was like a lot. Like, oh my gosh, like it's a lot to get people to participate in a study. And I was giving something away. And it wasn't like a draw type thing. It was like, no, if you completed the study, you got a $20 Amazon gift card. And that was even still hard to get people. I didn't get as many people as I wanted. I think I got, it was either 7 to 8. And then here's another thing, y'all. I should have said this in the video, but I forgot. As you are doing your study, please, 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 double check. Always double check, triple check. have your requirements of the study right next to you as you are, going through the people who contact you for your study to participate. Make sure they qualify, because there was like two people that I didn't realize until after I had done the study that they really didn't qualify. So I told my chair, and girl, I got a warning letter from IRB. They basically was like, it's okay, but don't do it again. Um, and that was because there was this one part of my study that I was like, oh crap. Until like I was in the middle of the interview, and the person, so I was recruiting folks who had to be from public universities, right? So I was in the middle of the interview, and the person was like, yeah, because my university is private. And I was like, what? And then I went back, and after that, I went back and I checked, and it was that person and someone else. And I was like, oh gosh. So, I told my chair, IRB was made aware, and they sent me the warning letter, just like, hey, it's okay, don't do it again, or, you're going to have to stop your study, blah, 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 blah. So that's something to be aware of. Please make sure that you are paying attention to the requirements of your study, because you don't, want to get off track. But it was, fine. I went on with the study, and I got it done. In the video, I also talk about, there's always something that you can be doing as a doctoral student, right? Yes, this process is a lot of stop and go. You got to submit this. You got to wait for it to come back to get feedback. You got to put this paper in. You get feedback, then you got to fix this and do that. A lot of stop and go. But there's always something that you can be working on, right? So for me, during my study, I think what really sped my process up towards the end, because chapters 1 through 3, that whole, that chapters 1 through 3, that proposal, child, that all took a long time. That IRB, that all took a long time. But once I finished my study, like, it was like quick. Like, I finished my study in August. Girl, I was done by the end of August. We had already, I had sent it back. He was like, okay, looks good. I got the final copy from the editor, sent it to my chair, and we, got our dissertation date on the calendar. And what really helped to speed that up was that during my data collection, I started coding the data. I didn't wait until the end. So as you are getting your data in, you have to make your data make sense. So that's something that you should definitely be doing, as you get your participants in. Do not wait to do that. Please don't wait to do that. As you get people in, start coding that data. So, once I was done, once I got the okay from my chair that I had enough people for my study, I was able to start writing, and I wrote my chapters 4 and 5. While it took me chapters 1 through 3, it took, like 2 semesters and some change to get that done. Chapters 4 and 5, I wrote in 12 days, and it would have been 11 days. But when I sent chapter 4, he was like, hey, looks good, but go back and fix this. So I had to stop writing chapter 5. So, and then I finished chapter 4 and sent it back, and then I went back to chapter 5. So that's what I mean by you can always be doing something. Yeah, you may not be able to finish, as you finish chapter 1, that's like your introduction. The next part, oh, that's my dry, y'all. The next part is your literature review. You can start working on that literature review, right? If they say, I need you to go fix this, just stop what you're doing and go back and fix that. So while you may not be able to finish something, you can definitely get started. And I think that's something that kind of helps the process to go. You should never just be, being idle. And maybe it's not writing, but maybe it is watching some helpful videos about what the coding process is like. Maybe it is, a lot of times by the time you get to the dissertation process, child, them classes, you been took them classes over 2 years ago. So maybe it's getting out your books and starting to, tag pages that are going to be relevant to what you're doing. That's all a part of this process. So I think that's something that is very, very important, is making sure, that you are doing something. And yeah, you too can write your chapters 4 through 5 in 12, days as well. Thanks, Baghead. Thanks for joining in on the live. But yeah, I think that's, that was my process. That was, what the end of the process looked like for me. Don't forget to check out my doctoral student playlist. I do have a lot of helpful videos. In the video, I talk about how this degree was debt free, 100% debt free. I got a doctorate degree, 100% debt free. So that was pretty cool, right? Well, I have gotten like degrees, like mostly debt free, but you know how like sometimes I don't want to say I had to take out a student loan. I was ill informed, and I did. But this was one of those degrees that I went in, like, I'm not taking out no student loan, girl. I'm just not doing that. If that's what I have to do to get the debt free, um then or not the debt free, but if that's what I have to do to get my degree, then I am not going to be able to do that. I just had already made that decision. So that's something that's important too. Yes, you can get a doctoral degree debt free. I did it. So many times people love to say no, you can't, and all this other stuff. Of course, there may be something that you may have to work a job that you don't want to work, but it is possible. So that was something, that was definitely very near and dear to me during this process that I was going to make sure of. And not only was it debt free, it was definitely just a overall good experience on that student side. I didn't have any complaints about the teachers. There was even the assignments, and I know some people, they have, complaints about their program. I thought the program was solid, and that's very important as well. So, yeah, definitely let me know what questions do you or what questions that you have regarding the doctoral process in the comments. Don't forget to check out my doctoral student playlist. There's a lot of videos on there just about the journey, as well as about scholarships and things of that nature. Hi, James. Hi, Wendy. And it's just a lot of helpful information. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe as well. Share it with someone who it can help. And in the video, I added in some cool pictures as well for you to kind of go back and look. Hi, Chris. I didn't do a lot of like videoing. Like, I didn't vlog the process on the day like I got my degree, just because I was like, I want to be in the moment, right? I want to be mindful. I wasn't trying to do a whole bunch of blogging during that time, and I had family and friends there, so I wanted to spend time with them. So got some pictures, but did not get any video. But in the beginning of the video, you can see me actually getting hooded. So that is definitely in there as well. But yeah, y'all definitely don't forget to go back and like that video. Show some love by liking the video and subscribing to the channel as well. Share it with someone that it could possibly help. Give some inspo to. And yeah, y'all, next week, so I just heard back from the rep at Sensational, so I should be getting my influencer packages, and I'm getting 3 this time. I'm excited. Well, that's gonna be a big box next week. So next week we'll be back to the alopecia videos that we all know and love. And I got some really, really cute looks. I'm excited about that. So that video will drop on Saturday. I probably should be getting, I need to check the tracking, but it'll probably be here by midweek. Well, there's a holiday on Wednesday. So it'll probably be here by the end of the week. So I'm very, very excited about that. So be sure to check back on the channel for that. And listen, y'all, thank y'all so much for y'all support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Share it with someone. Don't forget to check out my playlist. Thank you to my moderator. And I'm going to see y'all next time. I'm going to see y'all over in the shorts. All right.